Hello everybody, this is ChromosGirl018, and this is part 3 of my Let's Play of Seduce Me the Otome. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, but on the main monitor, my nephew is not happy. I just put him down for his second nap, even though he hasn't been up very long, because he's being fussy, and I had things I needed to finish. I have clothes to work on later, once they get done drawing, of course. I just finished the dishes, and I tried to clean up the living room a bit where he had all his toys and stuff sitting. Hopefully I can get... God, I hate that! Anyway, I figured that since I was wanting to record something, instead of doing Mass Effect 2 like I was asking about, I'll just play through Mass Effect 2 and 3 on my own, instead of doing a playthrough of that, because I'm going to save the playthrough for later on, maybe either sometime this year or the beginning of next year. I'm not sure which, just depends on what other games I get and all that. Obviously I'm going to get Andromeda, of course. Oh, he's not happy. Yeah, he's not happy. He don't like getting put down for naps. But he is being fussy, so he is going to be putting down for a nap. And thus I am going to do some recording. At least one recording. Depending on what else ends up happening today, because I haven't been able to spend time with my boyfriend because he has been, like I said, I think in my last video or something, he had to go back to work at the factory, and so they have I guess a huge quota to put out parts or whatever they make up there, and so he's got to work on that. And so he has been working. Last week he worked 7 days a week, I think. So he's going to probably be doing that for a while, so I haven't been able to spend any time with him. Other than that, I don't know if I'm going to be spending time with him today, so I want to get at least one recording done before anything, just in case, because I don't know when he'll wake up. Because lately he seems like he's been waking up around 6 o'clock, somewhere around there, and he normally goes into work, or has to be at work at 10. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go on and get this going before I start rambling on too much. Okay, I think I had already read this before I stopped the recording last time. But, let's do a recount of what happened last time. We had the funeral, we did a flashback to our grandfather. We tried to have a conversation with our father, it did not go well, he slapped us, and we just got done talking to our friends. So, this is what we've been doing, and now we're getting ready to head to bed. But, it was really nice talking to my friends. Oh, to the bathroom I go! I took a relaxing shower. Nothing beats the water and the hot water and the feeling of being clean. Oh yeah, I agree. That's why my showers take quite a while. Especially when I have to shave my legs, because the hot water feels great, especially in the cold weather. After drying myself, I promptly dressed in my pajamas and crawled into bed. Ah, a nice hot shower after a long day. I'm so glad to finally be in bed. It had been a really long day. I know that I was wishing for something to change back in class, but I certainly wasn't expecting any of the things that happened today. Oh, I don't think anybody would have been. I don't even think your grandfather was expecting it. He died. Yeah. Like I said, in the last episode, there's going to be a reason for that, and that'll be explored in another route as to what caused his death. And you will be happy about that. And I have to go back to school tomorrow. Ugh. I curled up on my side and tightly wrapped the blankets around me. I really wasn't in the mood to be returning to school, but my dad probably would make me go just for the sake of it. Why would... I was about to say, then again, I wouldn't know this since I haven't been in school in such a while, but if I had a family member die, you'd think that I'd at least stay home at least one day to do some, either do, from it afterwards. I mean, really? I wouldn't make my child go to school if we had just had a death in the family, especially if it was someone really close to us. It's time to go to sleep. I reached out to the lamp on my nightstand to turn off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather and the thought of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. Oh, she didn't get any sleep. Annoying alarm clock! And that's an actual alarm. That's way back when. That's not like today where you could have cute little ringtones as your alarm clock. I shook my head to try and clear the sleep mist out of me to no avail. I really didn't get any sleep last night. Oh, that sucks. It's already time to wake up. Wait, school. As soon as I realized I had to go to school, I slid out of bed and looked at the vanity mirror. That's a relief. Luckily, there was barely a bruise on my cheek. You had to squint to actually see it. I doubted anybody would actually notice it unless they leaned in really close. Keep that in mind. Breathing out a sigh, I got dressed, took my backpack, and caught the bus to go to school. It wasn't even hours before everybody heard the news. I was approached at school and given condolences for my loss. However, that wasn't what shocked my friends.
Wait, so you have the whole Anderson house to yourself? Lucky as hell, man!
Normally I would agree with you, but considering she lost her grandfather to get it, I wouldn't say she's really lucky. Especially considering her grandfather and her were really close. Now, if they were, if she hadn't known her grandfather at all, I think she probably wouldn't be as concerned on that, or I wouldn't be as concerned on that, but since he essentially raised her like his own daughter, I wouldn't think that'd be very appropriate to say. Yeah.
Quit being so sensitive, Naomi. Quit being so vulgar, Suzu.
Hey, we gotta pick a side. Yeah, I think Naomi's right on this one.
Oh, man, come on!
Sorry. But it is... I have to agree. She lost her grandfather to get that estate. I wouldn't say she's lucky. I mean, yes, it's an estate, but still. She lost someone really close to her that I'm sure if she had the choice to, she would bring back in an instant if it meant she didn't have the estate anymore.
See? She knows about proper public taste. I know how to be a lady. Sheesh.
We're not saying you don't know how to be a lady. We're just saying just keep in mind how the reason she got the estate in the first place. Guys, I'm going there after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
Seriously? It hasn't even been a day since you came back.
I know! I agree! They should have had her, like I said before in last episode, they should have her finish high school, then start living there at the beginning of the summer. That way, she doesn't have to worry about school or anything, and she could just get used to the house, used to living in such a big place and all that, and then she could start college. God. I know, my parents want me to try living there as soon as possible. Actually, it was your father that wanted that, not your mother. Your mother never mentioned what she wanted. Her father only said, no, she's going to live there, just probably starting tomorrow, and we never heard what her mother had to say on this.
Still, that's really fast.
Agreed!
Are you going to be okay?
You're preaching to the choir on this one, girl. I know, I agree. Of course. As well as I can be, anyway. But even in the comfort of my best friends, life seemed to keep testing me. And look at those happy faces. I like that. Ooh, hey, who did that?
Hey, don't go around shoving people like that.
I agree.
Whoops. Did I strike a nerve, Capini?
Really, you don't go shoving someone like that. She let out a small laugh as she twirled her hair around her finger. Lisette, one of the last people I wanted to see today. I agree.
It's not me you should be apologizing to.
Yeah.
Oh, Anderson. Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright.
Haven't you already heard, Lisette?
I'm guessing not. Though then again, considering how many people has probably already talked to her about this, I'm surprised she hasn't heard about it.
Of what?
Yeah, hello?
Her grandfather's passing.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I don't really watch a lot of news.
Hello? How have you not heard people talking about it at the school? She's already been approached by who knows how many people. You had to have heard it at least somewhere.
It doesn't really sound like you mean it.
I agree.
I do mean it. Earnestly. Why wouldn't I?
'Cause you're mean?
Typical Capini. Isn't her family involved with the mafia or something?
Oh,
You'd be
you are...
surprised
I
if she
hate
brought out a
that.
bat from behind her back right this moment.
Oh, I hate those people that walk with Lisette. Ugh, they're so annoying. Heck, I'd punch her. I'd punch that rude girl for that. No one talks about my friend that way. I don't care if the information's true. I had nearly forgotten the crowd that followed Lisette, which was mostly comprised of people that no one wanted to see on a typical school day. Oh, okay, the rude and mean and crazy people. You don't want to meet them. No one had the slightest idea why exactly they followed Lisette around persistently, but they labeled themselves as social equals with her. I highly doubt she thinks that.
That is out of line.
I agree.
Suzu comes from an honest family.
I agree. That is out of line. I don't care if it's true. It's still out of line to mention that.
Says the one whose family profits from political scandals.
Oh, I gotta say that is out of line. I don't care if the information is true. It's still out of line.
Yeah, your dad doesn't make anything unless he's in the court with dirty politicians.
Yeah, I agree with what I just said earlier. That is still out of line. I don't care if the information is true. You don't say that out in public unless the person who is talking involved wants to talk about it. I agree with you girls. I don't like it either.
Hey, let's all calm down for a second, alright? I'm sure Anderson needs some time to recuperate. I mean, what just happened? We need to give her some respect.
Yeah, right. I highly doubt you're gonna give me respect. You act like you are, but it doesn't mean you are. I think I would classify her as a fake person. I've kind of been hanging out with Dion a bit too much. Not really hanging out, but talking with him too much, so I bet this is sort of like a fake person. She's fake. These two are not. Just stop. Stop acting like that already, like you feel sorry for me. Oh, they're surprised now.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I think you know. I'm sure you're happy seeing me like this. You already have everything you wanted, and now seeing me like this, life couldn't get any better. Now she's blowing up at everybody. She blew up at her dad. She's blowing up at her. Dang. Bitterness seeped into me, and words started flying out of my mouth without filter. But honestly, I didn't care. I was so consumed by anger that I only saw Lisette in front of me. What exactly am I to you? Just another part of your obstacle course? Is that what I am? I'm sick of it, Lisette. I'm sick of all these charades, and I'm sick of you. Gasps rose from the crowd around her, and I was brought back to the school hallway. Even my friends beside me looked at me in surprise. And again, I think they're probably mentally cheering you on, even if they are surprised. One girl looked like she was going to speak up, but Lisette held her hand up to stop her. There was an emotion in her face I couldn't quite make out, but I could see a form of pity in her eyes. No, don't you dare pity me. I looked away from her. I didn't want to see that emotion in her eyes when she was talking to me. She didn't have the right to look at me that way.
I'm sorry. I know your grandfather passing away must have really taken a toll on your emotions.
You have no idea what she's going through, girl. You stop. She stopped towards me, put her hand on her shoulder, giving me a tiny smile as if for old time's sake. But for some reason I didn't feel comforted at all. Not that I was just angry at her, but the expression on her face when she leaned in close to me contorted into something complex. Something was different about her. I couldn't quite place my finger on it, but something about her had definitely changed.
Well, I'll be going for now. Track meet responsibilities and all of that stuff. See you later.
Like I said, I still don't like Lisette. Something about Lisette made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't just angry, but also uneasy. What was it? I had never seen her like that before. But I decided to pay no further attention to it. She continued running down the hallway with her gaggle of friends behind her, quote-unquote. Then again, I don't know how many of those people she actually considers friends, and they're actually friends with her. I refocused my attention to Mrs. Phillips, who was walking down the hall towards me.
Is everything all right, girls?
Now it is.
Nothing we couldn't handle, Mrs. P. Just a bunch of snobs.
I agree.
Suzu, hush! It was nothing, Mrs. Phillips.
I see. Well, Miss Anderson, please accept my condolences for your loss.
Thank you, Miss Phelps. At least I know she actually means it.
Your grandfather was a good man. He really upheld the philanthropy of his company's policies, and the money that went towards charity, too.
I know. He was amazing. I really looked up to him, and I want to be as good as he was.
Well, I know that you'll be as great as your grandfather.
Depends on what she ends up doing, though. She might not take control of the company.
Hell yeah, she will. She'll be 10 times better than her grandfather.
Would I? Would I really be better than my grandfather? Oh, those happy smiles. Everyone seemed to have high expectations for me. I wanted to do my best and make my family proud, but to be better than my grandfather? I wasn't sure about that. From outside the school window, I saw a familiar blue car pull up to the curb. Undoubtedly, it was my father in the driver's seat. Oh, great! We gotta deal with Daddy Dearest! Great. Oh, my ride's here. Well, I guess I'll see you both tomorrow.
Want us to come with you?
I'd love for you guys too, but what we're about to find out there, I don't know if you guys want to see it. No, it's okay. I'll be fine. See ya. Hey, Dad. Great, I gotta deal with him again.
Hey, honey.
As I got into the car, I noticed my father looked troubled, clutching at the steering wheel and staring straight ahead as if something was really bothering. That better be bothering you what you did the other day. In the last episode. That better be bothering you. I swear if it didn't, I'd be questioning whether you actually care, what you actually can care about someone.
About what happened yesterday. I'm sorry for yelling at you. Does your cheek still hurt?
If it did, I think you'd have broken something if you did. If it did. No, it's nothing to worry about.
I mean it. I shouldn't have laid a finger on you.
Heck yeah, you shouldn't have.
You know that you're my most precious daughter.
I'm your only daughter.
You're all that I have.
As far as I know, anyway. I don't think I have any siblings. Oh wait, I think they mentioned in either one of the episodes or one of the roots that she's an only child. So yeah, I'm your only daughter, and you shouldn't have laid a finger on her. In that way, anyway. Now, if it was just like a spanking, I mean, you're never too old for a spanking, kind of. But still, if it was a spanking, then that's fine. But no, slapping someone like that, slapping your own child like that, that's not cool. That is not cool at all. And I hit the mic. Sorry about that. I was had to brush my hair out of the way. I gotta get my bangs cut. Hang on, let me check the time. I don't even know what time I started. That's the bad thing about checking time now. I don't know how long I'm doing this. Excuse me. Yet he couldn't bring himself to say what he could never say to me for such a long time. He couldn't even say, I love you, essentially, is what it's saying. I always wanted to hear those words to affirm how he really felt, but I guess even now he wouldn't say it to me, or couldn't say it to me. Yeah, he can't even say I love you to his own daughter. You are emotionally repressed, mister. Or something. Something is up with you emotionally if you can't even say I love you to your own daughter. Even once. Actually, I don't even think... Okay, she just said that he's never been able to say that, so I'm guessing he's never been able to say it when she's a kid? That's cold. I turned my head away to look out the window. There was no point in waiting for something that was never going to come. And, like that, he started to drive, and the conversation between us ended. I decided to focus my attention on the passing scenery. We were taking the usual route to Grandfather's house. It was located within the vicinity of the school district, but it was still pretty far from the school and from where our house was. He had always lived alone. He insisted on doing things by himself, even at his age living in such a large house. Dang, that's dedication on being independent. Then again, he is the CEO, so I'm guessing he's used to doing all kinds of stuff by himself. I wondered, did he pass away with no one at his side as well? It sounded so lonely and sad. Yeah, it is sad. I think that no one was with him on his deathbed because we don't even know how he died. We never find out how he died. Actually, not from them. We find that out later. but it was strange that he decided on living all alone in his large estate. If anything, he could have lived with us. I don't think that would have been a smart idea considering the friction between him and his father. Or between your father and your grandfather. Probably not a good idea. Yeah, it states it right here. Though he and my father probably would have given each other the silent treatment the entire time. Maybe living alone was preferable to that. Yeah. I actually hadn't visited him for quite a while. Visits to his house were most frequent when I was a child, and I had grown up long since then. The last time I visited him, though, I thought he looked just as he usually was. Happy and healthy. But things change. In the back of my mind, I knew that he would have to leave one day. It wasn't like humans could live forever. Yeah, sadly they can't. So why did my heart still feel so heavy? Because you still miss him, because you were so close to him. He was almost like a second father to you, essentially. That's why it still feels so heavy, because you miss him. You loved him. And even though you knew he would eventually die, when it actually happens, it still hurts. And I'm speaking from experience on that. Then again, I wasn't as close as she was to her grandfather as I was to my aunt. I still helped take care of her when she was still alive and she was, weak and all that. And she couldn't take care of herself, essentially, so I had to help her husband with that. So that's how I can relate to that. A car ride was mostly spent in silence until he spoke up again.
How was school? Maintaining your grades, I hope.
I don't like that look on his face. It seems so uppity to me. Yeah, I've been trying my best as of so far.
Trying?
Really?
That's not really doing the best you can, is it?
Really? You're still gonna talk down to her like that? She can only do the best she can. She's taking freaking economics, for crying out loud. That's a hard class. At least I think it is. I never had to take that. The most I taken was statistics when it comes to that sort of thing. Well, then again, that was a math class. I think that economics is business, so I don't think I've really taken any business classes, except like the introduction to business, and that was it. With my father, only some words I said were filtered through his ears. It was difficult to keep up a conversation without eventually talking about academics or my future, even if it was something loosely based on it. He always found a way to integrate it whenever we talked.
Anyway, your belongings are in the trunk. There isn't a lot, so I'm sure you can manage bringing them inside the house. After all, you are on the road to being independent now.
Really? You could at least walk in the house with her and make sure that there's, like, let's say, food, for example? And I guess she's got a phone, so if there wasn't any food, she could always call you and tell you, but still, I figured you'd be at least concerned to make sure that she had what she needed, essentially, for the basics before leaving. Hello? Her father, for crying out loud. Yes, I can manage on my own. The usual silence resumed between us. I really wasn't sure what to say around him, especially when most of the time we didn't share the same opinions. One question did linger in my mind, though. If he was going to justify acting so nonchalant at grandfather's funeral, I had the right to at least know why. Great, are you going to bring that up again? Yeah, we get the decision to either try again or leave it alone. I think I'm going to leave it alone, because essentially if we try again, you're not going to get any answers. Leave it alone. It was no use talking to him about this. It'd be like reopening a wound. Or reapplying a bruise, in this case. Yeah. I sighed. He gave me a side glance out of curiosity, but didn't pursue it further. Typical. I'd hate to have a father like that. I mean, I know he probably means well, but good God! That ain't showing so far. I leaned against the car door and stared out the window. I really couldn't think. What would this place be like? I had been to my grandfather's house before, but it was one thing visiting, and it was another thing actually living there. Yeah, considering who knows how many places in the house you have actually seen. How would I manage living on my own without any training to really care for a house? I think you would have had at least chores to do in the house, like laundry, dishes, stuff like that. I think you'd at least know the basics of taking care of a house. And I'm sure your parents are helping with the money anyway, because there's no way you'd be able to pay for that place otherwise on the bills. Yeah, I knew that naturally the bills would be paid for by my parents who inherited grandfather's stocks in the corporation, but I had never lived independently before. I think, like I said, I think you would at least get the idea of how to do it, on how to take care of yourself, like cooking, cleaning, that sort of thing. And I'm sure that Naomi and Susan would be able to at least give you advice if you needed it. Thinking about it made me feel like some kind of bird being pushed out of the nest. Though I was technically an adult, I felt unprepared and a bit daunted at the prospect of actually moving into a new place. At least you have a place to move into, girl, now that you're 18, because some parents, once they're... Dang, I was wondering when a cough was going to pop up. Some parents, when their kids turn 18 and they graduate high school, they automatically kick them out of the house. You're lucky to at least have a place to live, because those kids have to worry about trying to find a place of their own. At least you have a place that's already paid for and everything. Or being paid for, bills-wise. All you gotta worry about is keeping it clean and the food made in there. Most people my age would be ecstatic moving out. After all, it would symbolize some kind of change in their lives, like being on the road to independence. But I felt like it was nothing of the sort. I really hoped I wouldn't let my parents down. I wouldn't want to let grandfather down. What would he be saying right now? I gazed up at the passing clouds in the sky. If you're out there, grandfather, how would you be doing? Would there be anything you'd want to tell me at this moment? And, of course, no answer. What was I doing? Searching for an answer in a heaven that would or would not exist. So I'm guessing she's probably not very religious when it comes to that answer. I ducked my head to stare at the blur of trees and cars from the car window. My head was definitely going into the clouds there at that moment. Either way, I found myself being driven off to my new home. Dang, this place is big. The car rolled to a stop and I drifted out of my thoughts. Eh, yuck. Hold on. Had something in my throat. Ugh.
Here we are. Go on in.
Really? Alright. Tell Mom I love her. Hopefully you can at least tell your wife that. God.
All right.
I love you, Dad. Really? You can't say it one time. That's all we're asking is one time. No, make sure to come by and visit us often. No, I'm going to miss you lots. Nothing other than a blank stare? Really? I figured Mom would... Why didn't Mom drive us here? Hello? Then again, if she did, she probably would go into the house with us, and this would end a lot differently. I paused a bit before reaching for the car door handle, waiting for any form of a goodbye, but he didn't speak again. Great. I sighed and exited the car, hearing my dad pop open the trunk. I saw the 2 large bags I packed last night that were large enough to carry only the things I needed. I took them out, placed one bag on each shoulder, and closed the trunk. He then drove off, leaving me alone in front of the mansion. Great! See ya, Dad! I watched the blue car fade into the distance of the road before turning to see my new home. There it is. It's huge! My grandfather gave me this? It's hard to believe. Yeah, it's huge. I wonder how it actually would be in comparison to your actual character. Yeah, quite big. The house was framed by a set of tall gates, and I hesitantly pushed them aside to take in the entire estate. The house still looked like it was when I last visited him. At a glance, it seemed kind of intimidating with its size, though if I came closer, it was clear there was more to it than that. The brick walls were framed by shrubbery and lovely flowers, giving it a homey and welcoming look, but in contrast, the tall doors into the house gave me a feeling of grandeur. Who knew what was waiting for me? But I wouldn't back down at this moment. I took out the key to the front doors and unlocked them. Well, might as well make myself at home. I'll be staying here for quite a while anyways. Actually, let me check the time. Okay, so we had... I think I'm going to end this part up here, guys. I know I'm getting you guys a cliffhanger because next episode, we finally meet the boys. I know, it took this long for in the dating sim to meet the guys. But that is the next episode. I figured I'd leave it on a cliffhanger, leave you guys wanting more. And leave you guys excited for the next episode, I hope. Anyway, I'm going to end it off here. See you guys next time when we finally meet the boys. Where the hell that's gonna go? Anyway, see you guys next time.